Good morning all, and welcome to this important session webinar on the general topic. Usually we have conducted many webinars on the very technical topics, but this is general topic which is I think of interest to all, as many of our students, they are always interested that what are different professional skills or soft skills that is required besides the technical knowledge. So I hope they will find this session very interesting. And as we can see that more than hundreds of participants have already joined, and many more are expected to join maybe in a few more minutes. So at the outset, I would like to welcome our opening speaker, Vikramjeet Singh Sidhu sir. He is director of Mindway Educational Group of Institutes, Ludhiana. And he will be talking on the tips to crack the interview and building an attractive resume. So as we know that because our students are mainly the professional, being the professional course, most of the students have to go through the interview, personal interview, group discussion, and personal interview at one point or another point of time. And before appearing the interview, they are required to send the resume at many places. So resume is again very important thing, because that is representing the candidate in your absence. So just we can understand the importance that what's the importance of attractive resume, because once you will be given chance, then only you can present yourself that what you know or what you are. But before that, only your resume that is representing you. So what are the tips to make a resume, attractive resume for job purpose of the graduate students? Both for, I will request Vikram that please put focus on both, that for industrial job purpose as well as those students who are applying to some other educational institute, particularly to the foreign countries. So for academic purposes, what are the things that has to be taken into consideration while making the resume? So with these remarks, I welcome Vikram again. And now it's yours, sir. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. First of all, I thank Dr. Pranav Singh, Mrs. Gopika Talwar, and Venus for coordinating this and inviting me to a unique opportunity. Before I start, I must tell all of you that I am a pass out of PAU myself. I did my BSc Agriculture Honors from PAU and MBA as well. So at that time, GADVASU and PAU were together, and we used to have the same campus. So it's great to be here back with all of you. I'm sure all of you must be missing the December sunshine PAU and GADVASU has to offer. You guys are studying from home, I guess. So I hope this Corona thing goes away fast enough and you are back in the campus. So to begin with, today it's going to be exactly as Dr. Pranav said. We will be talking about two things. One is how to write an effective resume and how to crack interview and the skills required for that. To start with, I'll just share a screen which has my presentation. All right. So all of you who are attending this session, please make notes of whatever things you find important, and we'll take it forward from here. So first of all, a resume is not a CV. I mean, I just wanted to tell you, since we are covering resumes, so it's important to understand how it's different from a CV. CV being a curriculum which is mostly for academic purposes, and it's longer, telling in detail all about whatever you have done in the academic field so far. Whereas a resume is a 1 to 2 page document. Remember, it's 1 to 2 page document max, which highlights your past so far that you have done in education and your experience and any achievement that you have done. So also, just take a look at the third point at the right bottom. A resume is not all embracing. It should be targeted to a particular job in a particular field. whenever you guys apply to any company, make sure you customize your resume to that job app, and it is always updated. Okay. Resumes contain the following. It would have personal contact information. It will have an objective, your education background, your experience, any awards, activities, skills, and finally reference sentence or phrases. Taking it one by one, your personal contact information, student should have your name, your address, and your phone number. It should have your email ID. We are in a digital world these days, so that's much needed. And just make sure, as I mentioned in the example, it's not a non-professional email ID that you have been using all your life to communicate with friends, family, or internet websites or some other shopping sites, etc. It is something which is professional. So anything like I mentioned, Jagtar Jat Barambor at Gmail or Angel Prabnoor at Gmail, they are not acceptable. So you better go to Gmail or Yahoo or whichever server you like and get yourself an email ID which sounds professional. Okay. So coming to objective. See, objective is a target statement that clearly states the type of job that you're seeking. Good objectives are specific objectives. Again, you know, some students, they just write an objective to work in an organization, fulfilling my goals, using my skills, etc. That is very general in purview. It's better to make it targeted to the job that you're applying for. For example, to work with the design and development of new computer systems with a special interest in microprocessor application. So that's some IT guy applying to, let's say, a company like Intel. Similarly, position in public opinion polling or consumer product market research using skills in survey design and statistical analysis. So this objective is actually objective. It's giving out the reason for why you're applying. And in your case, I just learned from your team that most of you apply for positions like assistant manager in Nestle or Verka or many other firms. As you pass out your bachelor's, these are the positions that you get. So your objective would be apt if you do it something like this: to work as assistant manager and contribute in sales and growth of company using skills, the ones that you have acquired over the years. So अगर आपकी एनिमल हस्बेंड्री में है, अगर डेयरी में है, जो भी वो स्किल्स हैं आपकी जो उस जॉब के साथ मैच करती हैं, those are the ones that you should be mentioning here in your objectives. So from today's outcome takes, I would like you to note this down, that your objective in your resume has to be designed according to the job that you're applying for. Okay, important. Next, it's a summary of qualifications, your skills, that's your profile. So a summary of relevant skills, knowledge, and accomplishments that you have. Be specific, tailor this section to the job which you're applying again. If it is well written, this section can really help a potential employer to focus on your strengths. Think carefully about what you have to offer. See, you have to stand out from the crowd. So it should be some skills which are directly related to that job which you're applying for. In case of GADVASU students, I wanted to discuss this further. Since it's not a live class and it's online, so Mr. Moderator, Mr. Venus or Pranav sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Could you throw a little more light on the kind of skills that, you know, fourth year pass outs acquire by end and the kind of they have to apply for?
Regarding technical skills?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, any technical skills, all graduates, they are supposed to work, in different dairy or food plants. So besides their job profile may be in the production or the quality assurance, or even sometime even in marketing. So, but being the dairy technologies, mainly their domains are mainly in the production area as well as quality assurance.
Okay,
So
that's amazing. So that's the kind of skills you can talk about. Acquired skills of production, animal husbandry, or quality management. So you guys have to shortlist those kind of skills that you have acquired over the years of your studying and see which ones are suitable for the job that you're applying and enlist them in your resume. Thank you, sir. Moving on.
yeah, can I add one few more things?
Please.
Yeah, just like quality assurance. When we are saying the quality assurance, suppose you have gone through gone through some kind of training in HACCP, hazard analysis and critical control point. That's very particularly that's important, that if you are having knowledge of HACCP, or similarly someone is having some knowledge of working on the membrane system, or maybe on a spray dryer. So these are the things you are you can always mention that already you have undergone through or you have a special knowledge of working on the membrane system or a spray dryer, or you are having understanding and knowledge of how to plan the HACCP audit. These things always will be helpful and distinguish you out from the rest of the mass.
That's well said, sir. Thanks for the addition. So this is what I wanted to tell you, students, that the kind of skills that you acquired, as sir has just mentioned, they should be in your head. You should be knowing them, and you mention them according to the job that you're applying for. All right, moving on, education. So simply it includes your degrees, your expected date of completion if you have not finished, relevant coursework and honors and awards that you have achieved during that study. Just for example, I mentioned here, your resume would like this: education, Guru Angad Dev Veterinary and Animal Sciences University, your degree, that is BVSC and AH, and the GPA that you have secured. Sir.
Yeah, just wanted to supplement that here most of the students are from in the College of Dairy Science and Technology. They are graduates. They are mainly from BTech Dairy Technology graduates.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So they will be.
Yeah, relevantly, the degree that they have secured is what will be featured here. Now, I just wanted to tell you that there is a of noting this entire thing down in a tabular form, which starts with 10th plus 2, then moves on to your graduation and the degree and the university or college that you appeared for. That also is fairly okay, not a problem. But it's much easier to understand if it is listed in this manner, wherein there is name of the college and then the degree and then the marks that you secured. You can do the same for your 10th and plus 2 as well, and listed one below each other. That's much more attractive than a tabular form. Okay. Coming on, next is your experience. So think in terms of experience, not employment or work history. The experience that you have gained, it's not the employment or the work history that you just have to tell. It's about what you did there, what you achieved there is what to be mentioned. Now, I knew that you are freshers. I'm giving this presentation to students who may or may not have had much experience before. So it's important that you mention your internships and unpaid positions that you have ever acquired, and they're relevant to the resume and the job that you're applying. So be concise in your descriptions of what you did. Do not use the words responsibilities included or duties were. I'll tell you what, this is a modern way of taking up a resume. This, what is written on the screen, my responsibilities included or duties were, is really old fashioned, not in trend anymore in 2020. Instead, what you should be doing is this, as I'm telling you in the next screen. It says show, don't tell. For example, I'm a hardworking person with great organizational skills. This is only you are telling about something. Whereas if you want to put it in a subjective and objective manner, it comes out like this. I was elected the chair of my batch budget committee. I was responsible for the accounts of 56 members and a yearly budget of 82,000 rupees. So this is another big take I want you guys to take out from this session today. Don't just tell, give details and make it in a verb form of did that, achieved this, and mention numbers, some realistic numbers if you can, and if you have had that experience. Another example, I'm a responsible student. So don't tell this, show how you are responsible. In my 2 semesters at GADVASU, I've taken 31 credits and maintained my 8.7 GPA. So again, a big take from this session, mention your achievements in a format that is impressive. Okay, that shows what you are, doesn't just tell what you are. Now, you may have noticed that the previous example used numbers. So numbers jump out on a page of text. Use them to your advantage. Remember this, whatever numbers you mention, they will be really strong for you and they build up your resume very strong. So numbers preceded by currency sign are even more effective. So anybody in quality management, in marketing, applying for production, your managers, your HR people who are there to hire you, they will be much more impressed if you mention some numbers over there and show your achievements, not just tell them what you are. Okay. So for this, again, you need to start using action verbs. As I told you earlier, responsibilities were, duties included, that is old fashioned. That is not impressive anymore. What is impressive is something like this. I designed, I gained, I sold, supervised, staffed, studied, programmed, created, tested, words which show that you did something, that you have done something, achieved something. So that is the kind of, reflection they should get out of your resume. Once they read that 2 pages, they should be like, okay, I'm sitting with somebody who has done this, achieved that, starved this. So it's very, very effective. Okay. So I have fourth year students with me, I'm sure. So Dr. Pranav, can we have some examples from your students? Can come, they can just be joining us on the audio and tell us what they will add here in their resume. Did this, did that. So I just want to make it more interactive. Anybody who can, contribute to this?
Do you mean that what they have gone through or what kind of experience they have during their internship, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Hello guys, from fourth year, if anyone can add the information, if anyone can. Fourth year students, please.
Students, just take it very easily. Okay, we are here to help you. We're not here to judge you or test you at all. And you can just simply talk to us. My point is this: I will hate if this session does not, make an impression on you and you don't use these tips. Why I have paused here and want your intervention is because I want you to talk to me, talk to us, so that we can suggest you that, okay, your resume should have been having this line. So I'm sure you have gone through internships where you did something. So what was that you did? We just want to help you to put it in word form or sentence form so that it gets into your resume and it is effective for you.
Anyone, please? I think we should move ahead. We will see.
Matri, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay, sir. Just will you please repeat it again? What you are asking?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get your question.
It was regarding that during your training, different training you have undergone. So if you have gained any skills or which can be mentioned specifically in your resume, so this is regarding that, like maybe HACCP or maybe something, or in milk procurement, or something about testing, milk testing.
Okay, sir. So we have learned about time management, as we have to attend different sections at a time and different tests. We have a lot of sections here which we have to cover. So we've learned time management. For example, if I talk about procurement, then when we visited the field and we were asked to come early in the plant, so that was a learning also. And we learned about the different tests which are conducted here, different processing parameters, HACCP also, which you talked about, and hygiene parameters also. There are different tests conducted for different products at different time. For example, inline testing they conduct here. Finished product is a separate thing. So this is also.
So yeah, can I have a name, please?
Sorry, sir?
Can I have a name, please? What's your name?
Maitri.
Pardon?
Maitri.
Okay, Maitri, simply that. So you have told us that you were there in a plant, you were there looking at things, the test state, etc. So Maitri, we just want you to, put it in a sentence in your resume, which is more productive, which shows the action that you did. So just for example, for everybody's benefit, Maitri could mention in her resume that supervised milk testing features at dash plant over a period of 6 months. So, you were there, you were taking care of something, so you can use the word supervised. Something
Okay, sir.
you did.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else who wants to add to this, what you did in your internship? Just tell us what you did. We will come back to you and tell you how you did in your resume.
Sir.
Yes, please.
So can you mention the personal experience rather than the internships?
Like what? Please give me an example.
Like I have worked in the unorganized sector. Like I have done procurement in the unorganized sector, and I have studied there what are the reasons why the dairy farmers are going through the unorganized sector, not coming under the organized sector, why they are using oxytocins and all the other things I have studied in the recent
Yeah,
months.
sure. See, there's a word on the screen which says studied. So that's what you should be doing, right? You studied the reasons for farmers not getting into organized sector, etc., etc.
Yes, the problem we are facing the other.
Yeah. So thank you for this. So the idea is, use these verbs to make it more effective in your resume, that what you did during your internship or your personal experience.
Participants, kindly keep your mic off.
Yeah, it's okay. All the perks and advantages of the online training, it's all right. I've been through a lot of training, so I'm very much used to all kind of disturbances and hitches. There are mostly hitches. People forget to turn it off or on. Okay, let's move on. I have made my point clear, and I'm sure you'll take it from there, that you use verbs and you are not using anything like my responsibilities were and duties included. You rather tell in more effective way what you did during those experiences that you gained. Next is some additional optional categories. Here you should be mentioning your professional memberships if you are a member of any association, your community activities, which are your voluntary contributions, your computer skills, any of you who understands Adobe, who knows Photoshop, who knows Tally, anything that can be of advantage to the employer, your achievements and awards that you have gained so far. Awards, clearly, it would start with, I was awarded dash, the award that you got. Apart from that, you can also mention anything like you captained a team, that shows leadership skills. Event manager for dash event, like you guys have your youth festivals and many other sport festivals or other activities that you do in your college. So event manager at dash, or event head of something that you did, some campaign or something that you did. Now, coming to the second part of this, which is community activities. Guys, it's a new trend these days, and all those who are in the first year, second year, and third year have a lot of time to do this. Get yourself involved with some organization, some non-governmental organization, some NGO, which is registered, and actually put some time into that. Trust me, whatever, if you go to work in a voluntary organization as a volunteer, there is a lot of skills that you are going to actually acquire from that. You will be part of a team, you will understand team skills. You could be given a role of a leader at any point of time. You will gain leadership skills from there. You will gain a perspective of serving the society or doing something actually, or achieving something while you're working with that NGO. So this second point is a huge bonus for all those who are in the first, second, and third year at the moment. For people in the fourth year, I understand that your placements are due in May, March, April, May, etc. So even you guys have time to do that. So make sure your resume is highlighted with something that you did voluntarily, something that you were not forced to do, but you chose to do that. And why employers would love that in your resume is because of two reasons. One is that apart from studies and apart from being a regular, typical banal cliche student, you were somebody who decided to do something on your own because you were not forced to join an NGO. It was your decision. So they will value this feature of yours, characteristic of yours, that you decided to do something extra from, which stands out from the crowd. Number one. And number two, as I told you, if you ever work with any NGO, there are a couple of skills that you will, organically imbibe in yourself. And these people who are in HR, they know it pretty well. So they'll really value your contributions which are done voluntarily. So I hope you guys remember this and make sure you look for an organization and join it as soon as you can and contribute to that organization. And the last part again, captain, event manager, event head, you were part of some team that won something. So they are coming here as achievements, and they will be highlights. Trust me, I have been through a lot of hirings, and we always value people who have done or got some achievements while they were students. Just the studies and the merit does not only mean that you will be getting the job. This section is really important in your resume. Yeah, so again, I'm sure we had a difficult time conversating with the participants. Now, with this section, can I ask students to turn on your mics and mention what you have done in the past 1, 2, 3 years? Anything that you can add up to your resume? Anybody who has been awarded something can speak out now. Anybody who has captained a team should speak out now. Anybody who has won some of. So this is the time I'm pausing this interaction of mine for you to speak and mention your achievements. One by one, please unmute yourself and tell us about it.
If any of you have contributed maybe through NSS camp or maybe through some other similar activities, yes, you can mention. I think Vikram, you have to put more session, because our students are so shy that they are
Sir,
shy, probably in asking, framing question and asking it. Yep.
No worries. It's all right. Not a problem at all. Students, I just want to understand, there is a button on your screen which says mute and unmute. So those who have won anything until now in your 4 years or 3 years or 2 years of degree program, just unmute yourself and say it out. It's all right. Pretty
sir,
simple.
sports events can be mentioned.
Of course, yes. Sports events, yes, of course.
But sir,
Sports
sports is
event.
not related to our job, na? Sir, how can we mention?
No
It's
worries.
extracurricular activities you have to mention.
Thank you
Other
for
activities
mentioning this.
festival.
Trust me, it is not all about job in the resume that they're looking at. There are behavioral skills and other things as well. So,
Sir, like many of our students in the hostel undergoes the Manavata Blood Seva Society. So we voluntarily donate blood whenever it is required by in the DMC.
okay.
Sir,
Yeah,
we
that's
are
okay. You can mention that you are
representing the
part
massive group of
of
that.
member of that society that you are, who organizes blood donations annually. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Sir, can we also mention the various NSS camp we have participated? Sir, although our university organized various NSS camp for providing many information to the farmers, like on the various burning topics, we organize many NSS camp that can be mentioned also.
Yes, you can mention that in terms of your voluntary contributions, because is what's the full form of NSS?
National Service Scheme.
National Service Scheme, and it is voluntary. You go and work for others, right? So it comes as voluntary contributions, but just present it beautifully of what you did and make it a little more objective. Like वो एक आप 5 villages में गए थे और ये किया था.
Yeah, suppose you have created some awareness camp, conducted some awareness camp on maybe pesticide use, or maybe clean milk production. So in the community, that you can mention. I think that's what
Exactly. Yes, that's the point. So event manager of Dash campaign, which was done across 6 villages, Dash time, year, or whatever. See, that will contribute as you did something, okay? And you are not only a student who has been in the college studying, but you were somebody who went out, gained experiences. Now, anybody who is from sports and has won an award, he can mention it here. Anybody who has captained a team, he should mention it here. Anybody who has been captain of the Bhangra team or Gidda team or anything else should mention here as achievements and awards. It is part of your personality. Okay, and you can't take it away from you, and they want to know about it. All right. Thank you so much for your contributions. Let's move on. Here I'm going a little technical with a tip which says use white space strategically. See, white space attracts the eye, and items surrounded by white space attract attention. So use your white space in your resume strategically. Just give you an example. You have two examples, one on the left and the right. Which is the better use of white space? Quite clearly, the one on the left is much more attractive as it is in bullets and there is space between the sentences. Supervise the monthly inventory, manage 3 sales clerks, sold 9,000 worth of apparel weekly. And that is standing out more than the example on the 9, which is more like a jigsaw puzzle. I have to just figure out what is all written over here. So what is the idea is be more clear when you write down your resume, so that it's spaced properly and things are apart from each other and they're easily readable. Okay. It's called coherent actually in English. They're very coherent, easy to read and understand. Okay. So some do's of a resume. Do think of your resume as an advertisement for your qualifications. They're not an autobiography. You don't have to mention everything. Just your qualifications, important things about you, which is begin each bullet point with a verb. That's a new form of resumes. Trust me, if you do this, you will stand out from the crowd. Do include paid and unpaid experience to demonstrate the range of what you have done. Again, anything that you've done involuntarily, internships, as being a student, that's going to contribute a lot in your resume because you did something, not just studied, but you have gained some experience. Do show the reader why why you are a good match for a particular job. So important. I cannot throw much light about it at the moment because I'm not from dairy field or even veterinary field. I'm really sorry. I hope somebody from your placement cell or you can get in touch, or you can, as students, think about it yourself, that what are the skills that you need to mention while you apply for the job that you're applying. Do make several resumes with each one targeting a particular field. Again, as I said, it's a big mistake to make one common general resume and float it all across with each company. You should understand the company. We're going to cover that in the next feature, but yes, I should mention it here. You should understand where you're applying and what position you're applying for, and your resume should match that. Do look at the resumes to see how they are written. Okay, so it's good to observe. The best thing in the world is to observe good things. So observe some good resumes, imbibe those things and use them in your own resume. Do use reverse chronology. That's the recent position in your first entry to organize your education and experience. Do format your resume clear and punctuation mistakes. Ask others to look at your resume, show it to your friends or family so that they can point out from their perspective how they find your resume. And remember that your resume will be looked at by only by an employer about 15 to 30 or 1 minute. That's it. So it should actually do the job that it is there for. Your resume should project you as a person who is better than others. Okay. Resume don'ts. क्या नहीं करना है आपने? Don't make your reader dig for information. Make sure everything that they want to know is there. As we mentioned, your personal contact, education, your experience, your achievements. Don't tell everything you have ever done. Don't try to remember. If there is something which is not worth mentioning, better not mention it. Otherwise, the reader is going to be like, this guy is bragging about it. He doesn't know what is priority, what is not priority. That's not a good impression. Don't use complete sentences. You don't have to be here in grammatical form. It has to be given in crisp language. Don't include personal information such as age, race, marital or health status. Not required. Age, race, marital status, these are not required at all. Don't make your resume too dense, busy or cute. As I said, use white space wisely. Don't use a font smaller than 10 point. So 10, 11, 12, they are common font sizes that you should be using. And don't use any fancy fonts that are hard to read. Stick to Times New Roman, Trebuchet, Arial, and Georgia. Thank you for the resume part. I will be continuing with the next part, which is interview skills. And my screen says your internet connection is unstable. I'm sure it is stable now. Okay, so everybody, let's move on to the next part, is how to be number one choice for the recruiter. In this session, we are going to talk about what you should be doing while in a personal interview to make sure you stand out better than the others. Being number one choice for the recruiter. Understand, the recruiter is looking for the most competitive candidate. Recruiters who are going to be coming to your campus, they have all of you to choose from, and they are going to be looking for the most competitive ones and the best ones from the lot. So who is going to tell them who is best candidate who is the best from the lot. So my first slide in this topic tells you that there's doing an interview and then there's doing a successful targeted interview. This first line only means that you're going into an interview with a prepared manner. You have done your homework, you're ready for it, and you go there. So it's a successful targeted interview with an outcome which is positive for you. So what's the difference? It's as good as getting a success in 10 attempts and getting your dream job in a single attempt. So that's the difference. We want you to sit for your first interview and clear it right away. How will you do that? We'll show you in the next slides. It can be done only through thoughtful planning. Yes, planning is important. Creating a realistic goal. Yes, knowing what you are going for and actively working towards it. All those who are in your first, second, third, fourth years, especially first, second, third years, you're pretty easy about it. You're not stressed.
I think internet connection is unstable and sometimes.
Okay, connection is unstable?
Yeah, no, it's okay, but it's coming, interrupted voice is coming.
Yeah, so your voice is getting.
Okay. So I'll just wait for it to go and you can just tell me, am I audible now?
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Okay, thank you. So the idea with this session is to present yourself as one of the most suitable candidates that is interested and available in the room. Okay, let's start with this. First thing that you should know is understand your recruiter. Who is there to recruit you? You should know the background, the research on that company solid. Research is the biggest trick to success. Imagine these scenarios. I have 3 examples. This is from an HR perspective, people who go to hire you. Would you ever like to hire someone who has no idea or little idea about your company? So the first impression the HR is going to get, he's not even interested. So this candidate is out. Is clueless about the job profile. So he hasn't even understood what job profile it is. Out. Don't know about your competitors. It's not only about the company that you should be knowing, you should also be knowing the competition, because there will be discussions and talks. See, if your company is interested to hire you from phase 1, that is you, yourself, your achievements, they're going to go to phase 2, which is, let's put this candidate in this position now. Let's do that. Let's imagine that Harpreet Singh is good for this job. We like Harpreet Singh. Now let's put Harpreet Singh in this job position and imagine he's there. And now let's ask him a few questions related to this job. Now those questions would be about the job, and those questions would also be about the competition that the company has today. And that is where Harpreet has to know his competition. And if he answers well, voila, HR is going to be happy about it. So business is competition. And how would you save your throat if you don't know who's going to slice it? So it's important to collect basic information about your company. You should know the key achievements. You should know key locations, recent projects, and key personnel. That is people who are running the company. Dr. Pranav, I would like you to tell me again that audience that I'm catering to today are BTech in dairy technology.
Dairy technology, yep.
Perfect. So the next slide is definitely for them. Okay. Now this slide is telling you research about your recruiter. In the next slide, I have a few. I've taken it directly from there. You can see Nestle, Punjab Meat, Godrej.
Yep.
got a screen on my screen that tells me internet connection stable. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible now.
So all the students, especially the ones who are going into interviews in the next few months, especially those fourth years, third years, this is your biggest recruiter, right? And this is a huge company, as I know.
Yeah.
So I want anybody from the student side to tell me how many factories or production plants does Nestle have in India?
Vikram, I think your voice is breaking. I think we have lost the connection.
I'm still there. I can see 111 participants.
Yeah.
Dr. Pranav, can you see the screen as
Yes,
Nestle?
now we can see. Yep.
Okay, so anybody who see Nestle is your top recruiter, and I think it's the most sorted after company. So if you haven't researched about it, so this is a good time for everybody to understand what I'm trying to say in this slide is that guys, as you go into interviews, it's important to know who you are going to sit for, like what interview it is, who's your recruiter. So the best way to research is, of course, internet. You can get to know a lot about the company from their own website. You can get in touch with previous students, your alumnus who are part of the company. You can talk to them to know about the work culture, to know about the latest developments in the company. Because as I said, if you are picked up as a candidate who they like, then the question set would go specifically and narrow down to the job and to the company and the competition. So if you go into an interview without this preparation, you are doing a huge mistake. Okay. So all of you who don't know Nestle and PepsiCo and some like the kind of employers that you have, it's good time to research about them now. And I would rather say the placement cell to, organize a quiz or something to make it more attractive and more eventful and fun. Can everybody hear me, Dr. Pranav? Can you?
Yes, now you are clearly audible.
Okay. All right. So moving on. So yeah, analyze your job description. It's important to understand the key focus areas of the roles and responsibilities you have applied for. Again, a lot of research and understanding that you have to make. I'm sorry, I can't contribute much about it because I'm not from this field. The list of points you justify how you are capable of achieving those duties. So whatever positions you apply for, what are the job responsibilities? It's very obvious the company which comes to your campus shares that information in their email and their notices. That is where you have to understand what job description it is and how you are ready for it and the roles that you have fulfilled earlier and they match to this job description. So apart from knowing the history of the company, now you should be focusing on the job at hand, knowing what will be there to do in this job. Next, you need to prepare yourself for potential questions. Okay. I could have made a slideshow and a presentation which is very general in terms of interviews, but here I'm trying to help you with very specific things. Some questions like this. Tell me about yourself. What do you know about our organization? Why do you want to work for us? can you do for us that someone else can't? And why should we hire you? And what do you looking for a job? So some abstract question as well. Let's answer them one by one. So when it comes to tell me about yourself, so this is often the first question in an interview, and make sure you don't run off at the mouth. That means you don't start telling everything about yourself. Keep your answers to a minute or two at most. You should be covering your early years, what you did as you grew up, your education basically, and then your work history if you have any, and any career experiences that you have. So if you have any experience, your internship, that's the time to emphasize upon what you did recently. Although this does not hold so much important for you as freshers, but for those who have been working in other jobs, this fourth point is all about your recent career experiences. And the last line also says, remember, it's just a warm-up question. Don't spill all the beans here. Don't tell everything right here about yourself. There has to be other questions also in there. What do you know about our organization? So here, as I told you, you have done enough research. You are able to discuss products or services, revenues, reputation, management style, philosophy, things like that. To add to it, I just researched Nestle yesterday, and I am so impressed by the company. Let me just share this with you so that I can, just ignite the spark in you guys to know your, companies more. Nestle was started somewhere in 1867 when this guy, Henry Nestle, a Swedish guy, I guess, or a German fellow, he he came up with the first, milk powder, which had dried milk. It had some sugar and it had some corn to it. And they could just add hot water to it and voila, they could use milk. So this way back, like 200 years back, or whatever the maths is. And then there's this history, this huge history of them doing this all across Europe and then Americas. And then in India, Nestle came first at Moga, the facility that's nearest to you, in 1961. And after that, they have now 6 factories and they have 4 regional offices, Bombay, Delhi, Chennai, and Calcutta. So it's beautiful. It's great knowledge to know about the companies that you work for. And it's going to be helping you a lot in your job searches and in interviews and in resumes building if you know about the companies that you're applying for. So the question when it comes in your interview, what do you know about your organization? Again, you will be at a very positive stage if you have researched the company well. Now, why do you want to work for us? So you say that your research has shown that the company is doing things that you would like to be involved with. That's a good thing. You should always appreciate the company, what they have done. It sends a positive signal to the HR team. So the company places a great deal of research and development, emphasize the fact that you want to create new things. So, why do you want to work for us? A good answer will be, first you talk about the company, why it's so good for you, what you like about the company. And then your second part should be how you and the job description fit each other. They are a match for each other. That's the bigger reason why you want to work for that company at that level, whatever job position that is. So just praising the company is not going to be enough, but it has to be seconded with your reason why you fit this job description and you are ready to work there. Okay. What can you do for us that someone else cannot? So it's a common trick HR question. So here you have all the right and rather an obligation. Obligation means आपकी duty है to toot your horn and be a bit egotistical. The point is you can brash about yourself. यहाँ पे conservative होने से काम नहीं चलेगा. What can you do for us that someone else can't? You cannot be like मैं अपनी की तारीफ करा. You cannot do that. You will have to talk about yourself, why you are the best, why you are better than others. So talk about your record of getting things done. Again, the verbs to be used as you did that, I hosted, I was event manager, I crafted, I tested, or the words or the things that you did. And mention specific from your resume or list of career accomplishments. Say that your skills and interests combined with this history of getting results make you valuable. And mention your ability to set priorities, identify problems, and use your experience and energy to solve them. So ये बड़ी बड़ी बातें हैं, लेकिन ये आपकी लाइफ में एक्चुअल में होनी चाहिए. You should have had problems and you should have had solved them. And then you have some experience, which is worth mentioning in your interview. So as students, you should grow horns. English can they, you should grow horns and you're ready to tackle problems. Any of you who skids away, shies away from problems, it's not a good student life. A good student life is when you take on problems and you solve them, because that is when you will be able to talk about them in your interviews and your resumes. So a ready reckoner for all of you who are in your initial stages of colleging, that please do that. Okay, be participative, take upon problems with horns on your head and solve them. And that is going to be your experience, which you can brag about when you asked, what can you do what others cannot? So my internet connection is again unstable, as my screen says, and it is gone now. Am I audible again, sir?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Did you have a break in the audio earlier?
Earlier, for just briefly, we had at certain point, but by and large, you are audible.
All right, acceptable. I'll have to test my Wi-Fi after this. What happened? Okay. Very important in an interview, maintain good body language. You have to sit upright and keep a smile on your face. You have to make eye contact as it shows confidence. I'm sure all of you know that. And don't slouch. So I am giving this presentation and I'm like, all right. Don't slouch, make eye contact, shows confidence. So how are you guys liking that slouchiness of mine? I'm sure you don't like it, okay? So nobody in your team, in your interview will do that. So the image to your left is the best image for a student who is sitting in an interview. Your fingers are crossed, your body posture is straight, and you have a smile on your face. Very important. I'm sure when you go into interviews, you will be nervous. But those who don't smile are not going to be picked, let me tell you quite clearly, because a smile shows that you're confident. A smile shows that you are in the right place and you're pretty happy about it. Okay? And anything on the image on the right, when you're sitting upright, it's the right posture. Now, next topic is dress for success. Yes, it's important. You might be a very good candidate. You might be very qualified. And if you are, overconfident about it and don't dress up properly, trust me, it will go against you. So for all of you who are going to be sitting in your interviews, remember, wear a formal suit. If it is summers, you can still manage a jacket, a formal jacket, which is not warm, but accept that you can just go in wearing a shirt and a tie. Now, clean and proper iron clothes. I don't need to mention this. I'm sure you all know that. Rather, this 2020, it's time of Facebook and Instagram. And I see a lot of you young guys are very particular about what you wear. ये slide अब पुराने ज़माने के लिए valid है, आपके लिए तो valid ही नहीं है. You guys know how to dress up. You guys know very well how to present yourselves. But थोड़ा सा difference है. While at interviews, for all the boys, it's important that you cover any tattoos if you have. I know it's trendy. Even I have one. But it's not something that you need to show in your interview. So cover up your tattoos, make sure you're well dressed, make sure you're wearing a suit and a tie. And for the boys, let me also mention you this, that wearing a suit and a tie right on the day of interview is not going to be helpful. You have to know how to do it regularly. Because I see a lot of interviewees who are in a suit and a tie, and they're like, they're not comfortable at all. And rather, it's the tie that's troubling them all the time. So why? It's just a formal attire. So make sure you practice yourself with it over the time, and you're comfortable with what you're wearing. Okay. For the girls, for ladies, it's important that you don't wear too much jewelry. Your jewelry is minimalistic, and the makeup as well is minimalistic. Okay. So just a few examples on your screen which are not favorable for you in an interview, and something which is favorable would be something like this. Okay. So it's called a two-button single-breasted coat that you should be going for. And for girls, anything like this on the image, you can note it down, is good to wear in an interview. Next thing I want to tell you is to be professional. Don't act over friendly. Don't use casual slang or jargon. Be polite and formal. Communicate clearly and effectively. And finally, be a good listener. Let me just elaborate these points. Don't act over friendly. Tell you what, while you're growing up at college, while you're in college, some of you might have, have had positive outcomes by knowing how to talk about things and being friendly with others. तो वो college में या दोस्तों में चलता है. When it comes to interviews, this feature is not going to help. And second is communicate clearly and effectively. Now that's a skill. I am sure your interviews are going to be in English, and knowing the language and being good at it is good communication skills. So while you are growing up in college, all you first year, second year, third years students, there is still time for you to own those skills in English language and become better at it so that you're natural. And last point, be a good listener. I'll just reiterate, I'll tell you again, while somebody is speaking, it's important to give them time, the space. That shows you're a good listener. Any time that you interrupt the interviewer, it's not a good idea at all. So you might have the knowledge, but it needs good communication skills to impress others. Remember, so work hard to become better at your communication skills, because interview, apart from what we have done, what you are, is also your ability to convey to others what you are. That is communication skills by large, and you should be really good at it. So again, all events in your college, you should participate in them. If you need professional help, join organizations which are giving you skills in English. And any time and money that you invest in them is going to be with you forever. And finally, stay motivated, because a positive attitude always opens up your mind. It will never let your mind be clogged. You will always be ready to learn new things. So motivation and positive attitude is the most important. Thank you from me and my team at Mindway Educationals who have helped me compile this presentation. Any questions? I'm ready to take them if you have. Dr. Pranav.
Thank you, Vikram, for this wonderful session and very informative session. I'm sure that my students must have got many things that how they can sorry, how they can build their attractive resume, as well as how to face a job interview, because that is important for all graduating students. Finally, we are, after passing out from the university, we have to land into job market and face the real world. So besides the technical knowledge, these are the things that is very important, and you have very nicely elaborated the key points. So students, they have put some questions in chat box. I think we will try to take, but our next speaker has also joined. I've been told that she has also joined, and